I was reluctant at first to even engage on this topic, to even talk about it. It's so outrageous, so egregious. It's such an unfortunate, sad time in Canada, following the wake of this horrible, horrible tragedy with the Humboldt Broncos. But the reason that I brought it up and the reason that I'm doing this video right now is just to show exactly how far this movement will go, how ruthless they are, how ugly identity politics is, and how the left looks at every single situation through the lens of identity politics. We're no longer individuals in society. We're no longer united as citizens, in this case as Canadians. Instead, we're always divided into these groups, into these identity groups, so that we can be pitted against each other. So I'll let you know what I'm talking about, especially for folks on Facebook. I tweeted this out yesterday. I saw it, it was brought to my attention, this tweet, and at first I just, I didn't know whether I should ignore it, whether I should engage with this individual. I decided to engage with her. I'm not sure if it was a mistake. I didn't even really want to dignify what she had written with a response, so I literally just tweeted it and said delete your account, which delete your account is something that's like, your reaction to the stupidest thing possible. It's like, it's not even worth coming up with an explanation as to why you're wrong. Just shut up, just delete your account and go away. So that's what I tweeted to this individual, a social justice warrior from Quebec, freelance writer named Nora Loreto. So she did a string here. She was criticizing the fact that the GoFundMe campaign for the Humboldt Broncos has raised millions of dollars. I think it's over. I think it's now the biggest campaign in Canadian history on GoFundMe. I think it's the third biggest in the history of that site. Over 6.7 million last time I checked. So she just retweeted the HuffPo Canada story showing the update of the Humboldt Broncos fundraising campaign and said this is a lot of money. Then she goes, I'm trying to not get cynical about what is totally devastating tragedy, but the maleness, the youthfulness, and the whiteness of the victims are, of course, playing a significant role. And then she puts out another few tweets sort of just saying, that she wishes that this kind of attention was given to other victims. She's specifically talking about women and girls who are victims as well of domestic violence. So, this was sort of inevitable. This was going to happen, that sooner or later a social justice warrior was going to go there, because they always divide people into groups. So you're not an individual Canadian, you're just a member of a group based on your gender and your race, and apparently now your age as well. And so they split us into these groups where you're not an individual, you're just a member of a group, and then they create a hierarchy of who's the bigger victim, right? So when it comes to this victim hierarchy, the lowest on the totem pole, the lowest group, is white men. And so when a tragedy happens to strike and it happens to be of white men, of course there's going to be someone who makes it just a totally idiotic comment about it. So with what was going on, because I just wanted to show, it's an example of how deranged the mind of these activists are, that they can't even look at a tragedy and see how horrible it is, but they have to try to somehow vilify, try to bring in their divisive games that they play of pitting us against each other. And so, she's angry and resentful that the fact that this story's gotten so much traction and that it's resonating not just all over Canada, but really all over the world. There's people supporting, putting their hockey sticks out. There's images of the Canadian embassy in Ukraine full of flowers, outpouring support all over the world. The fact that they've raised $6.7 million, people are donating all over because it's a story that resonates with all of us. And so seeing a left-wing activist trying to turn it into an issue about race and gender, and again, just leftist divisive identity politics, it's just so gut-wrenching. It's so awful. And I wanted to show my followers on Twitter and now on Facebook that the type of things that the left engages in an attempt to divide us.